So I've been working on my budget for probably the last 3 to 4 weeks. As you know, I'm a planner. I like to plan things out, and so I've been using a program called Asana to basically lay out my entire business plan into different sections. And I've also been looking at where in my budget is the waste, where are my deals coming from, which are really the most important thing. When you look at where your deals are coming from, and then you look at where you're spending your money, it's very annoying because you're spending money on all the things that seem to not work as well. And then you look at your past clients and all your friends and you look at that and you go, well, I barely spent any money there, but it was 80% of my business. So that's one of the big eye-opening things that I seem to see every single year. And every year I say, okay, I'm going to spend more on my sphere, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But this coming year, I'm definitely all in on client parties and things like that. It's really about outreach to the people that already know you and love you, and are willing to give you referrals and things like that, or use you as your agent. And so I think it's very, very important this year more than ever to get super laser focused with your budget, because, as some of you said earlier, Craig, I think Craig, it was you, you can make a lot of money and then be in the hole in this business very easily, especially if you're not setting aside, 25 or 30% of your income for taxes at least, and prepaying your taxes. So, all right, so let me go over some of this other content. We are eliminating some marketing to just answer your question, but not a lot. Probably just an app that we added on that it's doing okay. It's not bringing in a ton of new leads to it. Plus, we have a regular website, so it's kind of like overkill. Putting one thing I do notice with my budget is I have way too much technology. I'm spending money in so many different spots. So I'm trying to eliminate some of that. And then also there's a lot of overlays on people that I have hired for running ads and things like that. So I'm trying to get one company to do everything, or maybe two companies to do a bunch of stuff. I want to go over something that one of my friends from Albuquerque, Ramon, who's a badass team leader there, he did this post the other day. I want to share this with everybody because it was really powerful. So I'm going to read this to you real quick. The best business advice I received this year was to prepare with this quote in mind. What if the worst month from this year becomes your best month for the next year? So think about that. Your worst month this year, if it was your best month next year, what would that look like for your business? And some people might think that this is coming from scarcity. It's really not. It's really about making sure your budget is in line with your production. And so for what he's advising his agents is to multiply your prospecting efforts times 3, and then your expenses is meant to generate revenue. So if it's not generating any revenue, then get rid of it. And then the last advice is practice scripts, role play, and objection handling like it's your job to increase conversion. And the reason for that one is because you're going to have less at-bats, to use a baseball terminology, since we got World Series happening right now. You're going to have less at-bats. And so if you are not on top of your conversion, then you're going to be eating top ramen by the end of the year. So it's extremely important. So again, analyze where your deals came from, analyze your budget, and then you got to create a time blocking schedule, especially right now for the next 60 days, because what you do in the next 60 days is going to absolutely impact your business for the first quarter of next year. Not to mention, it's going to allow you to finish strong this year. A lot of people are folding up tents. They're just like, you know what? I'm just going to take some time off. That is a bunch of BS. We got about 12 or 13 million in escrow right now. We're going to put another 8 to 10 million in escrow over the next 2 weeks. So had I had the attitude of like, you know what, the market's slow, woe is me, start crying, then I wouldn't be getting these sales. And so my intention is to finish off the year strong, But where I'm really going to focus on is the people who already know and like me. I'm going to call every single past client. I'm going to go into my phone. I'm going to call every single person in there and make sure that they're in my CRM. And I need a role play partner real quick. How about you, Craigie? So I want to do a quick call with you, Craig. Unmute yourself.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Hello, is this Craig?
Yeah, it is. How you doing?
Hey, it's Bobby Martins over here at Move Up San Diego. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What's going on, Bobby?
Hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to check in with you to see if you have any questions about the real estate market.
Yeah, God, everybody just wants to know where it's going.
Well, I could tell you, man, it's definitely different out there these days. Whether you're buying or selling, there's lots of opportunities. Do you have any plans in the new year to buy or sell?
Not really, unless something dramatic happens in my world that I want to make a jump. But as of right now, I'm kind of comfortable.
You feel good in your property long term? You feel like you're going to be able to stay there 5 years or more?
Yeah, I'm probably in that 5 years. I think Mrs. Lurch wants the 3-year annex, but I'm voting on the 8-year annex.
Where does Mrs. Lurch want to go?
Mrs. Lurch wants a smaller house. I said I'll just hire a second cleaning lady because I don't want to move.
Nice. I love that. It'll probably save you some money. Well, I'm glad you guys love your house. That means I did my job. You know, I noticed on the tax records that, you know, you haven't put the house into a trust yet. Do you need a real estate attorney that can help you with that?
We've met with ours. Our attorney didn't do that, but I think it's kind of all in line. We did all that review last year, but I appreciate the opportunity. That's interesting. I have friends that might need the help. Could I tell them to call you to get this name?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've got a great you know, trust and estates attorney that can help you. Probate is extremely expensive in California. It's about $17,000 to do a trust. It's about $2,000. So not to mention, you don't want your family fighting over the process and all that stuff. So, you know, we always like to check in on you with that. You know, and this is going to be a personal question, but do you have a term life insurance policy set up for you in the event that something happens that will cover your mortgage so that your family is protected?
Yes, it's in place.
Awesome. That's great. You can't imagine how many times I hear no to that question. And
I've gotten threatened to be killed just for this insurance policy.
Hey, Craig, what's your current interest rate?
2.895.
Oh my God, probably never going to see that again. No wonder you don't want to move. Any large home improvement projects on the horizon?
Not that I see. I pretty much stay at it whenever just go.
Well, as you know, I've got some of the best contractors and vendors in town. So, you know, if you ever need anything, please feel free to reach out to me directly. It's not bothering me at all. Don't go to Yelp. Don't go to Angie's List. It's a bunch of crap on those websites. I work with the absolute best people that will help you. So awesome, man. Well, the last question I have for you is, you know, more than ever, we're relying on our past clients to help us with referrals. Who do you know that we might be able to help in the new year?
I had a couple people, I think. Why don't you give me 24 to 48 hours to try to get a couple of people that maybe you can put on that home bot thing that you got, and maybe you can help them. Let me see if I can get that.
Yeah, if you think of anybody, just do me a favor.
I'll shoot you an email with them and their address, and I'll get their okay for an email. Say, hey, you got to watch this thing that Bobby's doing.
Awesome.
You know?
Awesome. Well, thanks, Craig. I really appreciate your your service your business over the years. You've been a great client. I think we've worked together 3 or 4 times. So I really appreciate you, man. Tell the family I said hello. And if you need anything at all, please reach out to me. Okay.
My pleasure. Thanks, man. Be well.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a quick check-in call. You can change it up however you want. Try to ask open-ended questions. If it's a bunch of yes or no's, it's a very short conversation. It's one-sided. So get them talking as much as possible. And then the other advice I would have is get back to the basics, the free basics, you know, paying 10, 15, 20,000 a month on ads and, you know, all this other stuff. That's not going to make you money in this coming market. What's going to make you money is the free stuff that you can do So your open houses, circle prospecting, door knocking. Make sure you have multiple seller options. Randy, you hit the head or the nail on the head with the seller financing. 40% of San Diego is owned free and clear. So if you can teach sellers to become the bank, then you're going to have more sellers. Not to mention, they're going to get better offers on their properties because of the seller financing and a lower interest rate that they're offering. So I think that's a massive, massive opportunity. And the last thing I would say is, focus on buyers right now. Listings, the only listings I'm taking is if they are realistic on the price. Truth matters in this market. If you're not telling the truth, then you're going to go broke, because you're going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a bunch of listings that don't sell. And in the past, that might have not been a big deal because you got all these buyer leads and all these other leads off of it, but the lead flow is definitely slowed. So, taking a listing and spending $5,000 on it and not selling is not a fun thing. I should know. I probably have put more houses canceled or expired in the last 6 months than I have in the last 6 years. So, and it was really just a bunch of unrealistic sellers that I fired, or pushed to just take off the market because it just wasn't the right price or wasn't the right time for them to get their price. So that's it for me.
Whoa, that was some good stuff.
Yeah,
Go.
good role play, buddy.
Here's some of the follow-up questions that I have.
Go for it.
Type into the chat what you're using to develop your business plan again. What's that software?
Okay, so the software is called Asana. So I'm going to put that in the chat. It's in the chat right there.
Okay.
And then I got a free little gift for you all. This is a free thing. This Google Doc is basically a production sheet, and it's also a business plan. It will track just about everything. So if you want to really get laser focused on your business, use this production sheet. What I like about having a production sheet is I call it my takedown list. So every single day I am looking at that list. I look at my active listings. I go down to my pendings. I go down to my hot buyers, my warm buyers, my, all right down the list. I look at it every single day. And it's my low hanging fruit is what's on there. CRMs are great, but I got 20,000 plus leads in my CRM. So it's very difficult to remember all the people in your CRM. So you want to put your hot people on this production sheet that I just shared with you. The Asana, what I like about Asana is if you have virtual assistants or people that are not in your office, like my operations manager, she works from home. I have 2 people, one in the Philippines and one in India, and so these guys do a lot of different projects for me. So with Asana, it's a project-based system that allows you to look at your entire business. And so I simply broke it into the things that matter the most. I have a section for what's important now. These are all the things that I have to do right now. I have a regular to-do list that is the wish list, if you will. And then I have a lead funnels, free or inexpensive list of everything. And then I have lead funnels paid. So anything that I'm doing that is a paid advertising, everything's right there. And I can assign who is the manager of that. So some of my team members help with some of this stuff. We also have lead funnels for referral companies. As you said, Randy, some of these referral companies are great. Ideal Agents, Homelight, Ojo, Effective Agents, OpCity. There's a ton of them. I think Clever's another one. There's a few more, but and then I have a list of all the tech and resources that I pay for. Okay, so that I can easily just look and say, okay, these are all the things I pay for. What can I chop that I'm not using? And it's very simple and easy for me to look at. So yeah, that's about it.
Bobby, here's my follow-up question. Top 3 things that you and your team are doing marketing-wise in 2023 to get the best ROI.
Definitely outreach to the past clients, client parties. One of the things that we want to do is to have a quarterly party with every agent that had a closing and their client. So bring everybody together for a quarterly party. that'll be a good opportunity to ask for referrals and get to know them better. So
Walk
that's
me through that quarterly party. Where do you do it? How does it get paid for? What is the budget? And what are the hours and what day is it done on?
I think Wednesdays or Thursday afternoons are usually better. I don't think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, people are always busy. So Wednesday, Thursday afternoons are good for stuff like this. And, budget wise, I mean, it's basically throwing out a bunch of appetizers and buying, a couple cocktails each. So, whatever that costs, $1,000 or whatever. But, if you have, 8, 9, 10 people show up, that's the opportunity for 8, 9, 10 referrals. So, because obviously that conversation is gonna be happening. So, as far as other things, I mean, basically what I'm trying to do is do a lot more organic stuff. So YouTube is going to be a big focus of ours this coming year. And just building out as much content on Instagram and YouTube. For me, that's going to be my focus. I'm going to really just be laser focused on content, making the content, giving it to the guys and letting them distribute it as much as possible. But, my main focus is going to be on past clients, because when I look down my list of all my closings, I mean, it's either a referral company that is giving me leads like HomeLight or Ideal or what are these other companies, or it's a past client. I mean, that's a lion's share of the business. Not a lot of Facebook closings, not a lot of Instagram closings. So I think just really focusing on what is working and doing more of that, because what happens is, we spend so much time and energy trying to get something to work that is just a lower percentage closing. So for example, internet leads, it's 1 to 3% conversion rate, so, that's terrible. That's terrible. But if I get a referral, it's a 70%, conversion rate. So I'd rather spend my time doing that and more of that. And so, I've gotten lazy. My team has gotten lazy to some extent. For those of you on the call, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. We've been order takers for a long time now, and we forgot about prospecting. We didn't need to do prospecting for a while. So now it's really just getting back to the basics, being their resource, and really having the conversation, like, if they are going to do a real estate transaction, am I going to be the agent that you're going to use? And or would you refer me to someone that you knew that was doing a real estate transaction? Having those conversations, if you're not having them, someone else is having them with your client, and then they're going to get the business and not you. And then you're going to cry about, I didn't get the deal. Well, you didn't ask for the order. I just recently had a friend from high school that I had basically given free information for many, many years. And then she just upped and moved to, guess where, Pete? Tennessee.
Whoa.
So she's moving to Tennessee. I see the post of, hey, we're moving to Tennessee. We just bought this house in Tennessee. And, then the next, 4, 5, 6 days later, I see that her house has gone into escrow. Well, I should have, as soon as I saw that Tennessee post, I should have picked up the freaking phone, called her up and said, hey, what's going on? Probably was still too late, but, I can't be mad at her for not, picking me or using me, because I didn't reach out enough. I think the last time I talked to her was like a year and a half ago. And I knew that eventually she was going to be a sale, but I took it for granted, thinking it was my sale because I gave her all this free information. So my bad, no big deal. It is what it is. But you never want to lose something. But at the same time, if you don't ask for the order, you don't deserve the business. That's simple.
Great stuff today, Bobby. You knocked out of the park today. I don't know if you got some new hair product or what, but I'm definitely getting you sponsored by Crew or somebody. I'm going to call one of these companies. This is unbelievable.
Please do. I pay too much for this shit.
Yeah, you were unbelievable today too. I know you're trying to keep up with Bobby. We're going to get you some hair products too, just for being on the show. I want to thank Randy and Brian and everybody else who's been on. Next week, we're going to continue with the business planning for 2023. We're going to have Bobby walk you through, and all of us going to share different things that we're putting in our business plans so that you can emulate it to be successful next year. All right. So join us next week. And everybody invite 2 agents that you think it'll help their business to be on this next week. Let's try to get this up to 500 people on it. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next
Do
week.
it.
Go
Go
Phillies.
Phillies.
Yeah.
Go
Go.
Eagles.
See you guys. Have a great,
See you guys.
rest of the
You're
week.
awesome.
Have a good one.
Great job.